Water Flows, a series of informational programs about water. Water Flows will look at a number of issues: water conservation, preservation, purification, and sustainable use. Today's program looks at what is a watershed. There are 7 major watersheds in St. Lucia: Marquis, Roseau, Vieux-Fort, Canal, Tremassé, Fondor, and Cul-de-Sac. A watershed is land where all the water that falls on it and drains off it goes into the same place. In other words, a watershed is an area of land that drains all the streams and rainfall to one outlet, such as the outflow of a reservoir, the mouth of a bay, streams, or rivers. All the land that drains water to the outflow point comprises the watershed for that outflow point. This water may be surface water such as lakes, streams, reservoirs, and wetlands, and also hidden underground water. Larger watersheds may contain many smaller watersheds. Instead of watershed, we sometimes say drainage basin or catchment area. Ridges and hills that separate 2 watersheds are called drainage divides. Watersheds are important because the flow and quality of water in a river are affected by interventions that happen in the land area above the outflow point. These interventions may be human-induced, such as homeowners and businesses pumping small amounts of water to irrigate their lawns, to large amounts of water withdrawals for irrigation, industries, mining, and to supply populations with drinking water. The greatest factor controlling stream flow is the amount of precipitation that falls in the watershed. However, not all precipitation that falls in a watershed flows out, and a stream will often continue to flow where there is no direct runoff from recent precipitation. When rain falls on dry ground, some of the water soaks in or infiltrates the soil. Some water that infiltrates will remain in the shallow soil layer, where it will gradually move downhill through the soil and eventually enter the stream through seepage. Some of the water may infiltrate much deeper, recharging groundwater aquifers. Water may travel long distances or remain in storage for long periods before returning to the surface. Clayey and rocky soils absorb less water and at a slower rate than sandy soils. Soil already saturated from previous rainfall can't absorb more water. When soils absorb less water, there is more runoff over land into streams. Water falling on steep sloping land runs off more quickly than water falling on flat land. Impervious surfaces such as parking lots, roads, and developments cause rainfall to drain directly into streams, and flooding becomes a risk. Water from rainfall returns to the atmosphere largely through evaporation. The amount of evaporation depends on temperature, solar radiation, wind, atmospheric pressure, and other factors. The root systems of plants absorb water from the surrounding soil in various amounts. Most of this water moves through the plant and escapes into the atmosphere through the leaves. Transpiration is controlled by the same factors as evaporation and by the characteristics and density of the vegetation. Vegetation slows runoff and allows water to seep into the ground. Reservoirs store water and increase the amount of water that evaporates and infiltrates. The storage and release of water in reservoirs can have a significant effect on the stream flow patterns of the river below the dam. Well, that's it for today's program. Join us again soon. You've been watching Water Flows. Water Flows looks at a number of issues related to water, including water conservation, purification, and sustainable use. Join us for another program.